This is Analog Spectrum. I keep telling Tony not to swear so much during the podcast, but he just doesn't fucking listen to me sometimes.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Analog Spectrum. Again, we're here with Drew, Doug, and myself, and we're going to talk a little bit about open world games. We've been doing the movie thing for so long. You know, we said, let's just do something different, okay?
Yeah.
And then we're going to do maybe about 3 or 4 minutes talking about open world games. We're going to immediately pivot to another movie, okay? But no.
In fact, let's do it now. Have you guys seen Rain Man?
Oh, fucking that movie's so good.
It's definitely good.
Honestly, got like 97 matches. So, crap. All right. This is probably going to be the Drew.
Open world games, man. What are you playing right now, Drew? What are you playing? Open world.
This is going to be the Drew show because Drew's all about games, man.
I do love some games. I think the last open world game that I played would be Hogwarts Legacy. I think you could consider that open world.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
I did. I finished the story of that game. I personally loved it, but I'm also a pretty good Harry Potter fan. I'm not like, I don't have a bunch of memorabilia or anything crazy like that, but I own all the movies. I've probably watched all of them at least 4 or 5 times each through.
Yep. Dude, what was that one you made me go to the midnight showing when it came out?
That was Deathly Hallows.
Wow.
I fell asleep. I'm not shitting you. I fell asleep in that movie. A, because the movie wasn't very good. But B, is like, I was too old at the time to be staying up till midnight.
Oh, my God. Dude, I got to tell you, oh, shit. Because back when the Deathly Hallows 1 came out and Deathly Hallows 2, anybody that knows my wife knows that she is just like the sweetest woman, right? She is just so nice and so sweet. And
agreed.
And so Deathly Hallows came out. We were in Seattle, and we went to this really strange like dollar movie theater in some suburb. It was kind of weird. It was like this little the movie theaters that Doug and I used to go to like in 1974, like 2 theaters, right? And the squeaky ass seats and shit and sticky floors and paid $1 and we're watching Deathly Hallows. But Melanie was like sleepy, so probably like about maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the movie, man, she like falls asleep, right? She falls asleep, and she's like, it's not like little cute. She's like, I mean, she is like out, right? She is like racked out, and so it gets that's supposed to be. I think this is Deathly Hallows Part 2 because it was with the whole fight with Voldemort, right? Where they're doing the wand stuff, and it gets kind of loud, and all of a sudden Melly wakes up. She's like, "God damn, movie sucks, man! It's all dark and shit." And she's like, "It's all shitty." She's all shitty. He's like, "The fucking movie's all dark." And I was like, it was so messed up. It was like, oh god, man! And I was like, that's so episodic character, man. And you know what? Honestly, she's right. The movie is dark. It's a very low lit movie. It's hard to see shit. Anyway,
so that's really cool. What just happened? We started the open world and went right to movies.
The movies, man. Well, it's Drew's fault.
Movies suck. Open world. What you playing, Drew?
Yeah,
Hogwarts.
So other than Hogwarts, man, I've been playing a lot of racing games recently. So I don't know. Most of those aren't open world, but I guess Forza's.
Well, sort of open world, right?
Forza has
you can go.
Open world. The Horizon series are open world.
Yep. Yeah. But, so, I mean, the whole, about, and I did look this up because I'm a nerd. About 4 or 5 open world games come out per year, right? That's about average how many open world games you'll see, and most of them, don't do so well. And I guess there's always that kind of conversation about whether or not open world games have gotten too big, because they can, and I think about any open world game as because even though in every open world games, because Doug and Andrew just loaned me Horizon Zero Dawn, which by the way I think they must have like we're gonna talk about AI later, like AI name generator for games because it's like Horizon Zero Dawn, it's like like turnip footboat. You're like, I don't know what that means, but it sounds badass. Anyway, I can't wait to play that thing.
Awesome.
It sounds awesome. So anyway, but I think with open world games. There's going to be some linearity. There's going to be a story that you're going to want to get through. Yeah.
Because you can't just otherwise. It's like, what the hell are you doing, right? Then you got The Sims, right?
Yeah,
There's no real point. You just
Well, that's the two extremes, right? Like one is that you play a game that's on a rail, where you just it's taking you to the end. And another one, it's completely there's no story at all. So, but open world games, and I wish I could give credit for where I heard this, but I agreed with it. Is one, I gotta want to explore, because that's what I like to do. I want to go out there and like start checking stuff out. And I also, because it is supposed to be an open world. Even though I know this doesn't happen, when the computer is turned off, I have to feel like that world exists in my absence.
Still keeps going.
Keeps going, yeah. And so there's probably just not a whole lot of games that have done that. I think I started playing.
First, let me ask you, what did you think of your first however many hours you have into Horizon Dawn?
I like it. I mean, I wouldn't. I probably, and again, I know that you and Drew like it. I would say that it definitely keeps my attention. It's probably not. I think, like for example, like Hogwarts is, it's not as good as Hogwarts because Hogwarts is very immersive.
Well, so again, I mean, I'm not trying to defend it, but you think about when it was made compared to Hogwarts. I mean, the idea of open world games keeps on morphing, right? Because I'm going to tell you about the one that's coming up pretty soon that I want all three of us to buy. But when that came out, I think it was pretty pivotal at the time when it came out. Yeah. And then once you get through that and you play Forbidden West, you'll see. Man, they ramped up all of the internals. They ramped up all of the knowledge trees and stuff where you get points and you learn more stuff. A lot more subtlety, a lot more detail, a lot more complexity. The weapon systems are all a lot more complex. And what that does in terms of gameplay is it makes it less boring. It makes it boring further down the line. Like eventually you get it all, and eventually you're like, okay, I've done everything I don't want to play anymore. And the complexity of all that stuff pushes that point far, far down the road. Right. And even to the point, I will tell you that I have intentionally not finished the story of the second one because I'm still exploring shit. I'm still looking for stuff, which I think is fun. That's cool. There's there's so many interesting side missions that you can do. It keeps it interesting. But they based the second one, of course, wholeheartedly on the first one. And the story is what hooked me the most on the first one, and I do like the combat a lot.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Now, again, I'm not criticizing because I like it. I'm going to finish it. I'm playing it and I am exploring.
Yeah.
But again, to me, the exploration in that game is kind of, and again, no reason. I like it, but it's not.
It's a little bit linear though, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not the best exploration I ever had. I do like the combat because because I know Drew and I have talked about this. Is that if I don't have a mouse and a keyboard, man, aiming anything is a flipping pain in the butt on a joystick. It's hard. But I am to the point now with that damn, and I've actually put it down for a few days or about a week, but I found I can go back to it pretty easy, and I've actually started to do that thing on that game where you can say, hey, I really want this ultra rare bow that this guy is selling. Let me what heart do I need out of what thing, market, go out there and get it. Yeah. But there's nothing better than doing like a double tap kill on two robots standing right next to each other, and you're kind of like, that makes you, because I like firing a bow. I get, like I think I mentioned, reminds me of the Turok games back from way back. Killing things with a bow is just fun.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, do I feel that this game continues after I turn the computer off? Not really. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And even the second one doesn't have that either. Yeah, the second one doesn't have that.
Right. Even with exploration, now that because one of the things I really liked was jumping on the tall boy robots. And so I immediately went out and just jumped on every one of those sons of bitches, right? And so now
the tall necks, yeah.
Yeah, the tall necks. So I kind of explored, you know what I mean? Now, so I've kind of seen most of the terrain, even though some of those terrains, like there's that, I forget what it is, but that gigantic bird thing is just laying a fucking on me left and right. Dude, you run like a bitch when you're that thing.
You're coming up to parts of the story. Can you tell me roughly where you are in the story?
It's hard. I got to tell you, honestly, the story progressed, and then I got to the place where the world opened up, and I've just been doing like the
stuff.
Yeah, the hunting lodge.
So you'll come to a couple of key moments in the story where you sort of discover who you are and who that character is, because it's pivotal. That is pivotal. Right. And Drew, mark this down in pen. Tony is going to love the end game of this game. He's going to love the end of it because maybe not the final scene, because the final scene I thought, oh man, really? You have to do that. But everything leading up to that, you'll see there's going to come a point in that game, Tony, where they're going to say, are you sure you want to go on? Because you have to pass this next mission or else there's no going back. So you're going to say, yes, of course, keep going. Once you get to that point, it's epic. From that point on, it is like, whew, it's good. And I'm hoping that the same thing happens in the second one. I've kind of been stretching it out to hope that happens.
Well, with this game right now, I'm kind of in this place where, I get tired at night, and I got a choice between like sitting around talking to Melanie or playing the game. So I sit around and talk with Melanie. You know what I mean? Yes. But that's not always. It's not always that case. Where I'm kind of like,
yes,
I kind of feel like playing. But like and also I'm just, Doug, we were talking earlier offline. Both of us have a lot of crap on our plate. So it's hard to actually carve out any time to play, but like this weekend, I'm going to be locked down. So I'll probably get and I'll have my PlayStation with me. So I'll probably get like 8 to 10 hours in the game and move the story forward.
Burn some hours in. Yeah.
But,
no, that's cool. So I would just say, I would recommend, just go and keep that main storyline trucking along as you do all those side missions if you can.
Right.
Cause it gets so complicated and good, and, I'm a story nerd, and that one was way, way up on the top of my list.
It was a good story.
Yeah. I know Drew and I have been playing a lot of Gran Turismo 7.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's kind of an open world game, too, in its own weird way, right? I mean, if you think about that stuff.
Yeah. We, I bought a steering wheel setup thing from a guy online for like $100, and they usually go for like $500.
Usually expensive, yeah.
And then, so then I bought the steering wheel and the pedal and stuff, and then you add the VR to it, and it is like a whole new thing, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's addicting. You get in there and you race, and it's like, really go over some of the hills, and you kind of almost feel the butterflies, man. It's good. But, you're playing a lot of that. What else you been playing, Drew, other than the Hogwarts and that? You played, what was the Cyberpunk thing?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. That was an interesting one. I didn't like it very much at first, and there was a lot of reasons for that. Primary reason was it just didn't run good. So they released it, and there was anyone that knows anything about this game will know that they PlayStation took it off of the PlayStation Store for like 6 months. Like they wouldn't even sell it because of its performance on the older generation of consoles. And even my PC, man, I built my computer to whenever Microsoft announced they were pulling out Flight Sim 2020, I was like, okay, I want to build a computer so that it can handle. They had like AI procedural generation, like the entire globe is on the Microsoft Flight Sim. So I built a freaking pretty powerful computer to deal with that game, which I ended up not even getting anyway. But that's a whole.
I was going to ask you if you have it, because I have it. And
I don't have it, but I will get it eventually. But I want to get the yoke and the rudder pedals and stuff.
Right.
But
does that support VR? Do you know?
I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but I also wouldn't.
Well, if it did, then I'm in.
Because it came out 3 years ago. Yeah, it should.
Or they should at least update it too. Yeah.
But Cyberpunk, man, that my computer is pretty good, and even it was just choppy, and there was like pop-in textures were really bad. So if you're driving in a car at any type of speed, you'd go, I don't know, like a couple hundred yards down the road, and all of a sudden you're playing a game from the 90s again, like the graphics were just awful. The textures wouldn't load. So I set that game down for a good 6 months to a year or so. And over the course of time, to be fair to the developers, they put in a lot of work to make it playable and decent. So I recently started playing it again, and I'm having a lot more fun with it than I did before.
How's the story on that thing? All I know is Keanu Reeves did some stuff with it. That's the only
story
thing
is
I
cool.
know about
the story is the main driving force behind that game. What makes it good is the story, and there's just
is it Matrixy or something? Summarize.
So I haven't even completed the game yet, so I don't know what's happening in the end.
But what's coming,
So at the very beginning, you choose one of 3 paths. And again, this is another thing that kind of soured me towards this game, is they made a bunch of promises and then didn't keep 99% of them. Like they said, you could choose a life path, and it would drastically change the story, and it doesn't drastically change the story at all. You choose one of 3 paths, and it gives you maybe an extra dialogue option every so often on like a mission or two, and it gives you your first hour of play is different depending on what you play. But after that first hour, the game's the same for everyone. And then you might get an extra dialogue option here or there, depending on the character you're talking to. Like, if you share the same background, you might be able to say something that you wouldn't otherwise be able to say. But other than that, so you choose. You can either be like a nomad, which is like out in the sticks, outside of Night City. Which, by the way, Night City, incredible map. Like, if you're driving into the city from out in the desert. It is incredible. They did a great job of making that map look awesome.
That's cool.
But yeah, so you can nomad. You can be a corpo, which is like a corporate. You work a desk job. You're working for the corporations, or you can be a street kid. You're basically in the hood. Basically, is where you grow up. And the premise is that corporations, like mega corporations, have taken over as far as governments. There's not really governments anymore. It's all run by these like giant corporations. And you're trying to...
Hitting a little too close to home, maybe.
Yeah. Again, the story is real interesting. That's what's kept me playing this last playthrough is the story. And just some of the fun stuff in there. Like you can... have melee weapons, and there's one melee weapon. It's like a 6-foot dildo, and you can beat people to death with it. It's hilarious.
Can't wait. I'm buying. Hold on, I'm going on right now. Buying.
Whenever you hit someone with it, it's hilarious.
Doug, come back, Doug. Doug, where'd Doug go?
Wait, I'm gone.
But
probably not the selling point for the game, but I get it.
Well, that's just
I don't know, man. I was starting to tune out until you mentioned that. I'm leaning in. Really? It's not a sexual thing, guys. It's not a sexual thing.
That's right,
dude.
But yeah, so
all right, so I remember you complaining about that when you got it, and it wasn't running.
Yeah,
good
dude.
I was just curious how it played out afterwards.
It's okay.
Well, and just that short time, like Drew nailed like 5 or 6 problems with games now, is they can release garbage and just say we're going to patch it, that never happened. I mean, I say it never happened. I mean, you got to give game companies credit when they're like, we'll release it when it's ready. Project Red? I think it was that released Cyberpunk. I think it was CD Red. I can't remember, but CD Projekt Red. Yeah, they were like, people are going to lose their mind if we don't release this game. So they're just kind of like, here,
what was the game they had? What was the game that they had before that was so freaking popular?
The Witcher.
Witcher. Shit.
Yeah.
The open world. That's
Probably
the open world
my
mecca.
favorite game
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. Oh, Witcher 3. But
it was an awesome game.
But that also, the because you even mentioned, and it's funny because to a certain extent you're like, you tolerated it. You're like, well, at least they fixed it. There's that can ruin a game company. Shit will ruin a game company.
It did for a
while.
while.
Right now. Have you guys been keeping? And again, totally kind of off topic, but I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Call of Duty boycott that's going on right now. I don't know if that's going to get traction, but but it doesn't take a whole. Yeah, that's what the thing. The people I heard somebody say, Call of Duty's jacked up all first-person shooters because they basically cornered the market on first-person shooters, which is tragic, by the way, because first-person shooters are amazing. But also,
I don't know if I agree with that though, because I never did like it. But
no, I mean, I did. We're talking about these games, and you mentioned Cyberpunk. Was it? Is it Cyberpunk? Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, so it is a Cyberpunk universe. We mentioned, there's games like and you mentioned also. I thought it was interesting. You mentioned how they promised actions would have consequences, and they don't. That's what killed Mass Effect 3, right? Mass Effect 3 was supposed to be, you make decisions throughout the game, and you get a very unique ending. Ended up having like 2 or 3 endings, and everybody was like, "This game sucks," right?
Yeah.
Nothing I did really mattered. But there's space operas, post-apocalyptic Fallout, Red Dead Redemption, Wild West. Game after game takes place in a fantasy world. So matter of fact, the one I most recently played, I played Fallen Order. I played Jedi Fallen Order, and that was an open world game. And Doug, you mentioned getting to a point where it's like, if you proceed beyond this, guess what? You can't.
Mm.
and you're like, have I gone around enough and picked up enough
Right.
of this and that to make sure my health, because and Doug is quite rightfully so accused me of being a completist. I am. I want to see that. I want to see everything, right? But I've had to basically tuck that part of my OCD in, because like using
Well, you have to, and the games are too big, man.
The
You can't go see everything.
Horizon,
No way.
that you get you pick up like a metal flower, which by the way you get a map later, so you can find, helps you find them. But you open up that screen, I got a metal flower, and you look and there's a screen with one metal flower and 98 blanks, right? And you're kind of like, oh, I'm not finding all them sons of bitches. Not no freaking way.
Well, if they did amazing stuff for you, that would be one thing, but they don't really do much for you.
I found the vendor who you sell them to, but
I mean, big deal. You get credits, but
Assassin's Creed used to be amazing at that. I think it was Assassin's Creed 3 or something. If you collected all these, like, I can't even remember what they were. They were like pages that would fly, kind of like in Hogwarts,
flying around.
Yep. If you collected all of them, you get some insane armor set or something, and it looked sick, and it gave you all these stats. But like, it just doesn't happen anymore. It's just
how many pages did you chase around in Hogwarts?
A lot of them, actually. A lot of them.
Yeah, hell yeah, you do. First one you see, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. They get spamming the freaking Accio button all the time.
Yeah, you're like, come on, get over here. You're like, and like sometimes it'll be like, I got to go back and play that game. I wish I hadn't stopped playing it for a while because I'm gonna, I don't think I could fly a broom right now if I had to, but.
That's the one thing that they could have done a little better, I think, was the flying mechanics. Were a little weird, but you get used to them.
It's beautiful. Like when you're flying around, it's a pretty big map.
Awesome.
Yeah, surprisingly big map.
Super cool.
But I was also going to kind of mention like they talk about the world's getting too big. I played like the first Elder Scrolls Arena, which is like 1994, right? And that was like my first because open world games go all the way back to like Ultima, where you're like a little 8 pixels moving around a map with other 8 pixels and etc. And that one was like the first kind of first person perspective, and I just remember being like holy crap, where is this going to end up? What? Yeah, I remember trying to cheat it, by the way, too. I remember there was they would do like a riddles. Yeah, I did use riddles to open a cage, but then I'm getting a spell that could basically like destroy walls, and I was trying to go around the cage, but the game was set to where it would screw you if you did that. I remember like stopping playing because it pissed me off. But anyway, with that said, I just remember like the first
because I couldn't cheat.
Well, I knew the freaking riddle. I think the game was bugged because I knew the answer to the riddle, which was hourglass. Don't remember the freaking question, but the answer was fucking hourglass. I typed that shit in. The cage didn't open. Bugged. Okay, so don't give me your
before
freaking
the
little
internet where you can just look up the answer.
Yeah, pre-internet. You got to buy the freaking. Anyway, I love that game. I knew I was kind of hooked, so yeah.
It was a good one.
Doug, we're sitting there blathering back and forth. I know
it's fine. The second Horizon I've been playing a little bit, but again, I'm kind of stretching that one out on purpose. I got partway through at one point and I started over because I was so used to playing the first one that I literally was blasting through. Because when you get towards the end, you're so powerful. You can do so much stuff so fast, So I started off this game, which picks up right where the other one left off. And I was just blasting through shit. And then I realized, like, man, I didn't even, look around. There's all kinds of new stuff. And so I just started the whole thing over again. And now I'm at the point where I'm headed to the main big battle at the end. I've opened up the entire map except for this last part. And I'm just kind of stretching that out. But I'm loving the characters. I'm loving the whole design of the thing. It's all really good. But the one I'm really after, and I'm hoping I can convince you guys to buy this, if I'm sure it should come out on PC, is Starfield.
Oh, God, it's out now, isn't it?
Have you guys... No, it doesn't come out until September.
Okay.
Have you guys played No Man's Sky?
Yeah, you remember we played it together a little bit when it first came out, but it blew.
Did we,
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah,
I don't think because
it's supposed to be a lot better now, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Because you remember I can't remember if it was me or some of my other friends.
We had it on Steam.
Yes, but the whole point about that game is you supposedly could play it as it could play it as a multiplayer, but because there was a
Right.
trillion stars, good luck. You actually had
You can find each other. Yeah.
you could find each
Yeah.
other. Literally, it's like a trillion
Yeah.
stars. Yeah, supposedly it's a lot
Yeah.
better, but it's supposed to be like that, isn't it?
Yeah, so Starfield is kind of set that same way, but oh my God, the graphics look amazing, man. I watched a 45-minute video over the course of the last couple of days, just bits
Right.
and pieces when I could get it, and it looks so good, man, so detailed. But there's roughly just over 1,000 planets that you can go explore, and they're generative. So as you approach the planet, it will generate the biosphere for you. And then I think the devs have a whole list of like side missions that they just randomly plonk onto these worlds. But there is a line. There's a line that you follow, the main story arc. But you can definitely change your arc. You can go be a pirate if you want. One of the things I thought was cool is when you disable a ship and you do space combat, you disable a ship, and if you don't blow it up, you can actually dock with it and then go take over the ship. You can kill all the people on board and then steal it, and it's your ship. You can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it. You can take parts off of it, whatever, So kind of like Grand Theft Auto that Andrew and I used to hijack and steal cars and stuff. But it looks really, really good. But I was thinking to myself, and back to your comment about games being so big, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, in reality, if I get this game, I'm gonna have to budget my time. Like, it's that big of a game. Like, there's if I just go in and start playing like crazy, I'm gonna lose myself in it, and I'll find myself living on the street and no job and whatever. So I'm gonna have to budget. I have to budget some time for it, and then if you guys get it, then we can try that No Man's Sky type concept again, where we can meet up and the three of us can go raid shit. And I think that'd be fun.
Oh, I love the multiplayer. I love it.
Yeah. I'm all about that.
And
it's hard to find good multiplayer games though, man.
It is.
That are not like Call of Duty.
PvP.
I can't keep up with those.
Even then, try and find one PvP game that 3 or 4 of your friends all like. Like, it's so subjective that it's hard for me to even play with a lot of my friends. Like, some of us like Fortnite, some of us like COD, some of us like Rocket League, whatever, If you're not in the mood, then.
Well, and that's the thing, too. You mentioned it because I have friends that play, and we've definitely been around. Like, we all met playing City of Heroes, right? And we still play on occasion, and there are multiplayer games. But, like, I remember, I like MMOs, right? But their play style in MMOs is different than my play style in MMOs, right? I like, we're sitting here talking about open world games. I like to explore, I like to find, look at this little precious nugget of goodness I found that changes my character away, and also, look, there's a guy over here. Like City of Heroes was a comic book game, and you could tell the individuals that made this game really loved comic books because it played like playing in a comic book. So there were things where you would, and the chat bubbles even look like chat bubbles from a comic book, right? And these guys, man, they would roll up a character, they roll up a tune, and they would just wide open throttle that son of a bitch to try to get him to max, right? And I was like, it's been a while since I've gone over to this area and experienced this very interesting thing that they've done in this game. They're like, no, we got to go over to this area on the map where we can herd all these guys up, and they're worth max points, and we can basically spam this, and next thing you know, we'll be level 25, and we can move over to this area of the map. But don't we want to go to the Ghost City where we can basically fight ghosts? They're not worth anything. Who gives a shit? They don't have any good drops. And so there's that. And also there are other MMOs. There's been all kinds of MMOs that have come out. They're all wanted to be like the WoW killer, but none of them ever were. But look, we're really good. But like we were talking earlier, it does not take a lot for like your fan base to just desert you in a game.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's a pretty competitive market.
Yeah, and people have zero tolerance, man. Like if your content isn't there, are you for like microtransactions? How people get pissed about that, and your game is like right now.
We were just talking about that. Me and Andrew were just talking about that yesterday. So on this GT7, Gran Turismo 7, there's legendary cars. That thing's awesome. They put legendary cars in it. My favorite car is the Daytona Coupe. Sure. And 20 million credits to get that thing. And the single highest paying race is 1,000,000 credits, and that's what, like an hour, right?
Hour,
You got an hour around Spa, right? If you drive for an hour around Spa, through the rain, through all the NPCs jacking you up, and you come in first place, you get $1,000,000. So you got to do that 20 times just to afford that car. But there's microtransactions. That'll make it easier. If you use microtransactions to get the car, it costs you $200. $200 to get
I
that
guarantee
one car.
you.
I'm like,
People have bought
Yeah,
that
no,
car.
not
People
happening.
bought that freaking car, man.
yeah, not me.
No.
Ain't doing it.
But it makes
doing
people angry that you can
Yeah.
you can play to win.
Yeah.
And of course, like Activision Blizzard, which I see Drew going like this. Yeah, man, they're
He's like,
freaking,
yeah,
they're the
sons
worst.
of bitches.
They're the worst. But Blizzard used to be awesome, and they did Diablo, they did the Warcraft series, they did StarCraft, they did amazing
Activision and
games.
EA are probably the two most hated video game companies out there.
Yeah, EA,
Yeah,
man.
they're evil. But they came out, and I did play. I remember when Diablo came out. The second Diablo is the it's like the greatest game ever, right? One of the greatest open world games ever. And they came out with Diablo 3, which was pretty good. And they came out with the next Diablo, and it was a smartphone. It was a mobile game. And I don't know if you ever seen the BlizzCon from that, but like they announced it was a mobile game, and they go questions and answers, and some guy comes up and he goes, I just want to ask, is this like some sort of like fucked up late April Fool's joke that you're putting? And the guy he's like, this is not good, and then the next guy goes, do you have any plans whatsoever to put this game on PC? And they were like, no plans to put it on PC. And everybody starts booing. And then like the guys on the panel goes like, what, like you guys don't own phones? It's like,
Oh shit!
Double
It's like,
down,
dude.
right?
I know exactly. And so,
Spiraling down.
now they're kind of circling the drain on Overwatch, which I'm fine with. I just don't have time for it, But you talk about the so you don't really, when it comes to, anyway, when you come to like co-op play, which is my favorite thing. I love. Do you remember, Doug? Remember when you and I were playing freaking Left 4 Dead?
Oh, that was epic. Yeah, that was like the best gaming I think we've ever had.
Ever had, dude. Ever had.
Yeah.
Because you never have so much
hours
fun.
we would play that and never get bored. It was fun as anything. Yeah. And that was pretty linear. I mean, to be fair, you went from station to station and that was it.
Yeah.
But man, the way they generated the zombies randomly was very, very cool.
Right. Yeah. And I played Back 4 Blood too. And people didn't like Back 4 Blood, but I liked it okay.
I recently played Back 4 Blood, and it was okay. I think with all the plethora of games that are available now, it's a little
makes it hard.
It makes it a little more difficult, but it was fun. It was a nice update, I think, to Left 4 Dead, the series.
Well, and it's interesting because they made mistakes because they did kind of refer to it as a spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead, and I think people kind of people get pissed for God knows what, and people didn't like that, and also they didn't like that whole collectible card thing where you had to collect cards and use that to modify your character.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that either, but mainly because I wouldn't say I didn't understand it. It was just like I didn't see the need for it to be in there really.
Well, yeah, they made it. I think they made it too complicated, man.
Yeah,
for casual player.
Yep.
And
I just want to go
also
jack up some zombies, man. I don't want to.
Yeah. It's some of the characters are crazy OP, man, and I always like to play a sniper. Snipers just don't make it in the zombie apocalypse, man. They just don't.
No. You need a shotgun or the flamethrower, man.
Yeah, freaking axe, shotgun, flamethrower.
Yeah. Hold on, this made me think. I lied to you guys. The last open world game I played was Dead Island 2. Is it the one that just came out?
What'd you think?
Incredible game. Incredible. Yeah. And I haven't been able to play much of it because I flew out to Texas about a week after I bought it. But yeah, me and two other of my buddies were doing a playthrough. So there's 3 of us in there. That game is badass, man. I think you guys would both really enjoy it.
Well, all right, Drew. So today, Tony, for all listeners, I had about half of my windows and doors replaced. And tomorrow, I was off today and Andrew worked. So tomorrow we're switching. Andrew, you're off tomorrow. If you can help move the furniture and get everything out of the way so these guys can finish up tomorrow evening when I get home, we'll get that PC hooked up and you can just log into Steam and play away.
Is it?
Because I got a pretty decent PC. It's pretty herky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember the original. What was it? What did you say? What was it called? Dead Island.
Dead
right?
Island.
Yeah, I remember the original. The original, and if anybody has never seen the trailer for the original, it had like a trailer that basically elevated it. That it really could never overcome its own trailer. You ever want to see just a crazy trailer? But I remember playing the original Dead Island. It was a very open world. I love that whole zombie apocalypse thing. And of course, Doug and I played Dying Light too. I thought that was pretty good. It was all right. Yeah. I mean, I like the whole that had a real vertical exist. Like rather than just being all flat, you basically running around between buildings. I liked that a lot.
Yeah, lots of parkour stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but the story was a little too heavy. I'm not heavy. It's just like sometimes just like, can we just, Yeah. I know you hired Rosario Dawson, but I got it. This is let's cut the drama anyway. But definitely Starfield. That's a
put it on your radar.
That's
September. It's coming out.
Cool. Hopefully by then my life will be calmer. So
man, I'm hoping mine too. Holy crap, man!
Well, everything we're saying, I can't do shit if I'm freaking dragging in at like 8 o'clock at night. I'm an old man, dude.
I know, dude. I know. I feel it. We delayed recording this podcast so I could go build a frame for my freaking window to be installed.
That window behind Doug, in there's no glass in that hole.
I know that one's getting replaced tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So,
how about them kitchen countertops? Plywood, baby. That's all right.
Doug,
it's only for another week or so. Next week they get replaced. So
you're like this whole house, bro.
Fuck, man.
Bob Vila.
Yeah. I think we're in, how you do projects and you get to like, whichever way you look at it, you get to the peak of the problems or in the valley of the like,
yeah.
That's where we're sitting right now. It's like the house is a disaster. There's crap everywhere. Nothing's where it belongs. The construction dudes are coming back tomorrow. We're trying to finish crap up. It's just like, So,
dude, I get it, man.
Can't wait to get it done.
Like we said before, I'm not where you are, but my house is under construction too, and it's
moving.
moving.
Get it. Yeah,
it's moving along, but it's still Mel and I are living we're living the trailer life right now. So, all right, anyway. We digress.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, well, everybody, we'll end it there. Any last thoughts? We kind of talked it through.
No, I don't think so. GTA 6 at some point in the not too distant future, right? We all hope.
Yeah, I think it's been in development.
All the Grand Theft Auto.
How long has it been?
All the Grand Theft Auto players.
What's that?
All the Grand Theft Auto fans out there are hoping for GTA 6. There's been no official anything, right, Drew? There's rumor mill like crazy.
Yeah, it always happens the same, man. It's happened the same with GTA 5. GTA 4, I think before that as well, rumored for 5 years, and then finally you get a snippet of information.
But man, the way Rockstar makes their games, when it finally drops, that's going to be. I mean, because if they've had this much time since GTA 5, technology's gotten so much better.
And GTA 5 is still a good game, even for nowadays standards. It's still a good game.
Yeah. People still play StarCraft 2. They still play GTA 5. I think GTA 6 has been in development for 25 years.
It seems like it.
Yeah, but no, if a game's good, a game's good. Yeah. So, all right, everybody, let's end it there. Thanks again for listening, and you have a great rest of the day.
See you later.
I keep telling Tony not to swear so much during the podcast, but he just doesn't fucking listen to me sometimes. Nice. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves for a mind-blowing revelation. The true masters behind Analog Spectrum are none other than two small, adorable dogs. That's right, folks. Olive and Susie are the real brains behind the operation, and they are totally in charge. These canine connoisseurs of podcasting insist that humans like, share, and subscribe to our show. Because let's face it, humans who don't do that are simply stupid pants. Yes, you heard it right. Stupid pants. Our furry hosts have one mission in mind. to make all humans out there cool. They want you to join the cool club by engaging with Analog Spectrum and spreading the word. It's a small price to pay for the honor of being cool, right? Our doggy duo insists that you reach out to us via email. They may not be able to read, operate a mouse, or type on a keyboard, but hey, they want you to have your say. So if you have constructive feedback or a burning desire to be on the show, drop us an email. Who knows? Maybe our hosts will find a way to include you, even if it involves some creative dog-human communication. While Susie and Olive lack the technical skills to navigate the digital world, they have an undeniable knack for bringing joy, laughter, and a touch of sass to your screens. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the antics of these furry maestros as they take you on a wild ride through the analog spectrum. Remember, humans, your fate is in their paws. Don't disappoint them. Be cool, not stupid pants.